Hey everybody, this is your friend Anthony Burrows, and I'm your host for Life and Finances with Sacrifice and Service. Thanks for joining me today. Now, most people desire is to be financially independent, where they'll be free from the system and don't have to worry about the man on their back or whoever it is they deem to be the villain in life. Now, the problem though, even though with all the hopes and dreams of one day becoming a millionaire, most persons lack one thing. And you know what it is? Financial literacy. And being financially literate simply means that you have the knowledge to handle your money. For your lifetime, you're able to make decisions. You understand how money works. Now, the thing is, we don't learn this in school. And in the vast majority of our homes, in fact, homes all over the world, not just the Bahamas, they hardly and very rarely do they speak of money. The world system as we know it is stacked against us. Us, of course, when I say us, I'm talking about us, the everyday person, the everyday Joe Blow. The world is stacked against us, and the world system says and require and request that we simply be consumers. Consumers, just purchase things that have no value and does not increase in value, but things that decrease and diminish in value and longevity. So that way we are constantly buying over and over and over. And that's their desire. Now, when I reflect on something that happened over the past 2 weeks, and most persons, if you're a social media person, you would have heard about it. And some of the financial news had it. But of course, you found in our local papers, I really didn't see anything about it. And it was a situation you would have heard these couple of names. Robinhood, which is an online trading company. And the thing is, mostly young people do it, use the Robinhood. And Robinhood concept is steal from the rich to take care of the poor. But that's just a concept, and it's a fairy tale that's really told most time. But there's a company named Robinhood which allows you to do online trading with zero to minimal fees, right? Then, of course, you have this other social website called Reddit. One of the co-owners of Reddit is Serena Williams' husband. That's Serena Williams who plays tennis. But anyhow, he's one of the co-owners. And the thing about it with Reddit, it's a site where persons become members and they post all sorts of things, and then persons vote thumbs up, thumbs down if they like it and whatever you. So you found that a bunch of people on Reddit got together, went on Robinhood, right, and started buying shares. And what they did was that they in these particular companies, GameStop, Best Buy, and AMC Theaters. Now the thing is, these entities were losing money because they're brick and mortar places, and brick and mortar during the pandemic losing money left, right, and center. And the thing is, even prior to the pandemic, these entities were losing money. So therefore, you have what is known as those large Wall Street companies got together, and as they're mainly those equity companies and whatever, and what they did was that as they got together, they did what is known as short selling. So they would then go and purchase stocks from the various companies with the notion of it coming down, down, down. And when it comes down, they are able to then sell it at the bottom price and make a tremendous gain. So these were your regular muckamucks, everyday billionaires, right? And their equity funds were doing this. So the Joe Blowers, which is the young people and not so young persons who are, they just don't have any money. Now, the equity fund people, they're the ones who control the system. So they are the ones who are saying, hey, to school system, don't teach about money. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones who are encouraging homes not to speak about money so that their wealth can continue growing in. But anyhow, it turned out on Reddit, all these yet millions of young persons got together and they decided, okay, what they're going to do is start pushing money into AMC Theaters, Best Buy, and particular GameStop and get the stock prices to rise. And when they did that, of course, the billionaires and the equity firms lost billions of dollars. One or two actually went out of business. Now they are saying to the government what these guys did was unfair, yada, yada, yada. But you know what the point I want to make is that by doing this, utilizing the internet, utilizing social media, we can change our country. We can take our country back. Can you imagine that? I know you're saying, take it back from what? One of the things we could do is get rid of that International Person Landholding Act. That's one thing we could take back. The next thing we could do is then push and get established a National Health Insurance Board where Bahamians could live lives of dignity, and on and change some of these other laws and then build our own wealth. But anyhow, it causes me to think of Lincoln Bain. As you see, it's just strictly social media. He's utilizing it. The man has become a man of power in the nation. And then I see Michelle Malcolm the other day as she was booted out of ZNS. Now I see she's online and utilizing a local radio station. So social media is powerful. And you know what? Those of us who are in the middle or the downtrodden class, we have access to power. We just got to unify and do it. But anyhow, that's not really what I want to talk about today. See, many financially free persons view their resources as a big hedge of protection, and under normal circumstances, it is. So it brings me to the topic I want to talk about today. Insurances. Do you need them? Insurances, do you need them? That's what I'm going to talk about today. Now, number one, every adult and children will have an idea of what an insurance is, but it comes down to depending on which stage in life you're at. Now, insurances can come under different ways. The thing is, between 35 years old and 68, that's the prime years of your life. That's when you're making your maximum money, and that's when you have the most to lose and more at risk. Now, a lot of people got different ways of calling themselves, say, hey, I have my insurance. For some persons, they got their shotgun or they got their handgun or whatever you. And that's their insurance against theft and things happening to their assets. Then you have some of the quote-unquote first world countries. Their insurance are basically their atomic weapon. They're saying, well, this is one way of keeping their country safe. Now, the thing is, really and truly, let's be serious. Insurance is simply when you're in a situation, anything that you take out to protect against loss. That's what insurance is. So you buy an insurance simply to protect and to prevent yourself from having liability and losing money. So you establish a contract, for instance, with an insurance company. You agree to pay them maybe a monthly, a weekly, or an annual amount, which is known as a premium. So they may honor the agreement that you and them have together when they commit in the event that you have a financial loss that they'll pay you. Now, the idea, the sole purpose of insurance is this: to hedge your bet so that, hey, I am building this, I am buying that, I'm investing in the next, but just in case catastrophe hit, the idea is that this will now be my protection. And all you're doing is hedging your bet, managing your risk. And the thing is, I know of persons, wealthy persons with businesses, and they figure their millions could cover them. I know a gentleman in particular in his business and probably have an asset, I'd say, in about around $10-15 million. But of course, when the hurricane came, didn't have his buildings insured, didn't have his businesses insured, wipe out. So now you got to make a new start. You see what I'm saying? You put in 30, 40 years to build to the $10-15 million and no insurance. Wow. Then I think of a simple situation. A good friend of mine bought a car part online, and it was shipping, all of that. Cost him about $1,200. Didn't take out any insurance on it. When the car part got here, it was damaged in shipping. Lost $1,200. So even the smallest of things, you have to consider taking out insurance. Now, specifically, who would you say need insurance? I'll put it this way. If you are a person who have others relying on you for your financial support for their existence, you may have children or a child. You may have employees as the owner of a company. The thing is, you may have a spouse. Whatever it is, they are counting on your income. Even if they have income, but their income might be very small. So your income is the chief income. Now, there's a thing I have to smile about. They call the insurable interest. As a person that if something happened to you, they have an interest in your life. In that if something happened to you, their life will become a little diminished or they will now be at a disadvantage. So that's called the insurable interest. And this could be your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. This could be also your business partner if you're in business, any family member who is counting on you. And it causes me to think about the insurable interest, to remember when sometimes you go around these liquor merchants and you see persons would say, oh, that liquor merchant has insured that alcoholic who you know can be dead in 10 years. But which means chances are that's pure fantasy and lies. But I guess the story sounds good. Now, you can get insurance up to age 99. But of course, the older you are, the more you pay. And the thing is, insurance simply is to protect yourself and your family. Now, people will tell you when you're purchasing insurance, in particular life insurance, that, hey, it should be 5 to 10 times your annual salary. But I'll say what, if you can't afford to pay that, get something. Whatever it is that's comfortable, that you can afford to pay but with the premium, but do something. The idea is you want to protect assets and your property. See, the bottom line, economic and financial protection against unexpected losses is a serious thing. Persons can tell you after Hurricane Dorian, persons as far back as Hurricane Andrew, Hurricane Matthew, they can tell you. Then this pandemic, people can tell you. We have real life situations where this happened. Now, the thing about having insurance helps you to have a little more financial security and peace of mind is really what it does, right? Then, it's something also reduces your stress. And you can use it to establish your legacy because you can then set up different ways for monies to be distributed to persons on and how you go about it. Plus, really and truly, it's a reduction in long-term expenses should catastrophe come. So don't view having that bunch of money in the bank as your protection. Get your insurance. And I like to think of the story being a person who entered, like playing tennis and watching tennis and all of that. It turned out that when the pandemic hit, it turned out that Wimbledon, the Wimbledon tennis tournament, has been around for 100 and some years, and the last pandemic, they lost a lot of money and couldn't host the tournament. So you know what? From then on, they started buying pandemic insurance. Here it is, they went, almost 100 years now before the next pandemic hit. When the pandemic came this time, I think they were recipient of about $150 million, close to $200 million because of it. Of course, they paid insurance for, I think the fee was like about $4 million a year. But, having it saved the company and saved the operation. Now, the types of insurance, when you're thinking of, you have the whole life insurance. That's for those persons. And it's just as it says, whole life. You purchase the insurance and it's in force for the entire time of your life until you die. Then you have the term life insurance. So when you're looking at life insurance, and term is, as it says, it runs for a specific length of time. Now, term is just as it is. It meaning from this particular point to that particular point. And this for people who are making, maybe you're making an investment, you're buying a house, a 20-year mortgage, a 15-year mortgage, or whatever, you get the insurance to cover that length of time. Things like that. Okay, and then term insurance, of course, is cheaper. And it covers at least the time that you want to have. Then, of course, they have annuities. They have the stocks and bonds that some of the insurance companies offer. Then you have the health insurance, which is normally in group insurance, and it covers emergencies, hospitalization, illness, treatments, regular doctor visits, labs, and stuff. And the thing I like to say, the importance of health insurance, and it's very expensive. So if you are, when you're looking for a job, one of the things to look at, does the job offer health insurance? And this is why we need the National Health Insurance Board, because let's say you have about 40-some thousand civil servants and quasi. The quasi companies, a lot of them have health insurance plan, but the public service doesn't. teachers and nurses in them have had one now since the union, but that's on the back of Bahamian people in terms of the extra costs and taxes that we have to bear. But I like to think about it. When I think of, I'm from Inagua, and I look at the Morton Salt Company and the amount of persons they have, persons even after they retire into their 70s and whatever you, the insurance stays with them. And you find that, and when you hit your 60s and 70s, when all these things start to happen, but Morton Salt Company allows the person to keep their insurance, and so they travel, come to Nassau for private care, some go to the States, some go different places. And as a result, it appears to me that their people are living longer, even though they're eating the same bad diet that we tend to have. Then, of course, you have disability insurance. You have auto insurance, and if you're under 25, the premium's going to be high. And if you're over 75, the premium is going to be high. And according to some research I read the other day, it's saying the best age to die at is 75. Well, I say to that. But anyhow, they say 75 is considered the best age. That's when your health, when you hit 75, basically all and sundry start to go wrong with you. And a lot of persons, they're in a debilitated case in many cases. But, but I even though I disagree with hey, drop down dead at 75, but I see their rationale. And the Bible did say 70 and couple of extra years by, just by good grace and whatever. Then you have property insurance, and this is against hurricane, fire, theft, liability if someone come and fall down your house or something. Then you have the long-term care in the event you get sick. You have the marine insurance, that's for persons who have boats and things of that sort. Then of course I already said about the liability that comes with your home insurance, but you can purchase liability insurance if you're running a business. Now, when you take out insurance, man, make sure read all that contract. And if you don't understand it, carry it to a lawyer or consult a good friend or family member who's a knowledgeable person. I'll tell you one thing, don't just take the agent word. They have a vested interest. Remember, they are collecting a percentage of those premiums. Now, for business insurance, the most important part of the business insurance, first and foremost, let me tell you, is that liability. You're protecting against lawsuits and possible law settlements. And I suggest that you get at least a $1 million liability insurance if you're running business. Then, of course, the next important part of business is protecting the building, the equipment, things of that sort of stuff that you use. Insure the cash if you're running a retail entity where a person's going to come in and try to rob and all that. So hey, no fighting with the thief, just give him whatever he come with his gun. What have you. So, and then this insurance also helps to protect your business image because any situation go on, you can meet it. Then you're saying the types of insurance that I suggest that you don't buy. When they like to tell you, people talk, accidental death. Don't get that. Now, maybe if you're a person, you work as a roofer, you're always on the roof, you're a security officer, maybe a policeman, or work with those armored vehicle and stuff like that, then yeah. But other than that, forget about accidental death. You don't need credit card insurance because your cards usually have that. Then flight insurance, where they'll tell you, you want to buy some flight insurance. No, you don't need that. Then these things, when they buy a television, they say, hey, extended warranty for your appliances, your electronics, the phone and all of that. You don't need those because those things have a certain life cycle and then that's it. Then when you're looking at insurance companies and the people who work for them, of course you have agents, and the agents are a company itself can be just a group of persons come together and they form that company, but they'll be agents / brokers. Then you have the salespersons, the people who come around maybe to your job, your home, wherever you have. Then you have the adjusters that works for them. When you have a loss or something happen, they come out and they look at what it is you do, and then they do all the calculations. And then you have the underwriting managers, and these are the people who sit in the office, and they consider the risk and look at the insurance when the persons come in to try to write them up. And the thing is now, how insurance companies make their money, they pool the large number of people / policyholders together so that they can spread the risk out over the whole stretch, and that's how they generate their profit. Now, the insurance companies under this pandemic, of course, have had to pay out a lot more debt as well as health issues for for policyholders. Now, in the insurance, let's just put it this way: the insurance carrier slash provider, like most companies in Nassau, are issuers of the policy. And so in Nassau, we have what happened, I should say in the Bahamas. Persons will then come, sell you'd purchase the insurance from them, and then they would sell it to a reinsurer, maybe in London or somewhere in the US or somewhere else in Europe, as they do like that. Now, for when you're dealing with insurance, please, you have to, when you're purchasing, do your due diligence in terms of, is this a company that I can trust? Is the agent trustworthy? Is the company a long-standing, trustworthy company I can depend that when I have my catastrophe or whatever happens, will they pay instead of just collecting? Now, when you have, in the Bahamas, we have the regulators for insurance, which is the commission, Bahamas Insurance Commission. And they were established, I think it was 2005, somewhere around there, right? But the thing is, we all know about the Clicko mess. Clicko had their situation transpired in 2009, and the regulators supposed to be in a situation where they monitor, then they preserve the financial integrity of these companies, and they're supposed to always be looking at, hey, the company in a state of solvency, meaning is that are their assets higher than their liability? But you know what? A lot of times they pay attention trying to stop persons from, laundering money and things of that sort. But the thing is, Clicko did a situation where they took investors' money, because as a policyholder, you invested in the company. They took the money, bought up real estate in Miami and whatever, which I guess ordinary, but they were dealing with something that they didn't know and understand. The whole thing crashed and boom. So, really and truly, government through the commission regulators dropped the ball. Then you had a situation where government now had to go on the hook with $45 million bond and then pay some of the policyholders back. I think they paid them something like 70% of whatever their worth was. And it put the Bahamian public, we now have to bear our burden of doing that. So, the issue is when you're purchasing insurance, these fly-by-night companies, these smooth-talking salespersons, no. You make contact with the different companies. Let 3 or 4 agents come out, talk to you, and then you can go and also read up on it, on whatever type of policy it is you want to purchase. But I am ready.